Hey, what's going on, everybody? Always before you here. I want to show you a new knife that I just got. This is a Smith & Wesson knife. I'll show you the part number. It's kind of a funny part number, SW BLOP. What it stands for, SW, I think it's Black Ops, and then the part is really like 3S. That denotes the particulars of this knife here. And it just comes in a regular, nothing fancy, just a little chintzy box here. And, you know, Smith & Wesson's name is on it, but there's another company here. Here, there it is. Try to focus it. That's going to be good enough. Taylor Brands, made in Taiwan. So, let me just show you this knife. I'm not a real knife aficionado. I like knives. I've got a couple others, which I've got two other knives, which I've purchased for myself, and this one was actually a gift. It was a Christmas present. And I'm just going to kind of put in the other ones to compare and contrast some of the features and, you know, high points of each one. So, one thing I really like about this knife, and this is just personal preference, is the aesthetics of the knife. It has like a real funky, to me it kind of looks like a spider web slash like muscle type grain to it. It's real funky, it's kind of organic and different. It just looks kind of dark and creepy looking, and also badass. So I really like the grip on it. It has a safety on it, which is this switch right here. And inside, which you're not going to be able to see because you can kind of see it there, there's a red dot. So that would be safe. Now when you're in safe mode, it has two ways to open it here. You have the flipper or you have the thumb stud. And just so you know, thumb studs are, there's a thumb stud. And the thumb studs are ambidextrous, you have them on both sides. Okay, so when it's on safe, you can't do either. You know, you're stuck, it's not going to open. Which is a good thing, because this thing is, wow, it's really something else. They call it an assist, but it's really more like an auto. And again, I'm not a knife aficionado, I don't know much, but just every once in a while I'll look around and I'll read, and I actually happen to read a review of this series of knife, this new Smith & Wesson. They call it the Magic series, Magic Opening, which is basically just Smith & Wesson's way of saying assisted. But the reviewer at this knife place, and this is a guy who has, you know, tons of knives, he said it's more like an auto, just by the way that you're not really you're not even helping it. You're almost just pressing it as if it's a button, and it flies open something crazy. So it might be hard to demonstrate in the video just how much of a hair trigger it is and just how forcefully it opens, but I'll just try to do it a few times for you. So very little pressure at all, and there it is. And the same with the thumb stud here. You don't really move it so much. You just don't feel like you're helping it. It's not like you feel it move a millimeter or two. It's just like you just feel the pressure of your finger, and the next thing is it's just flying open. So in that way, it's kind of like an auto. And it's got a real like clinky, metallic, like hard-nosed, loud opening sound to it. You know. So that's really one of the main things about this knife, is the magic assist and the you know, just how fast it opens, and the fact that it's kind of like a pseudo assist. It's kind of bordering on an auto, but it is classified as an assist. So if you're in a state where you can't have an auto, or a municipality or whatever it is, you can own this legally. I mean, you know, by their definition, it is an assist, but it's just it's pretty crazy how little it takes there. And not only does it not take much effort, but you know, even though I don't have a lot of knives, I've handled a lot. Every time I go into like an outdoor store, I just like handling them and, you know, screwing around and asking questions. And so I felt a lot of these assisted openers, I like them, and very few open with the ferocity of this thing. It's got a lot of whatever the mechanism in here that holds the tension. It's a lot. It's just a lot. And this is a big heavy blade, and even so, I mean, it just rips it open. It's pretty cool stuff. So, and I'll just roll in some of my other knives here. That knife is really, in contrast to something like this. This is a Kershaw Oh So Sweet, first generation one. They recently redesigned them. And this one, you know, Kershaws are kind of known for, back in the day, their assist. But this one you kind of feel it. I mean, you have this flipper, and it just, you know, I'm putting good pressure on it there, and it doesn't spring open. I really got to put a lot of pressure on it, and then start helping it through. You know, my finger almost finishes with that follow through. You know, I like this one a lot, but it's just very different than the way the Smith operates. You really have to put a good amount of force initially to get that guy to go. Different than the Smith, which is just like just a little bit and it's flying open. Very little pressure there. Very little at all. So I think maybe that's why the safety's here, is because some people might feel it, and like myself, I'm like, oh, that's really cool, man, the way that opens, wow. But at the same time, I'm like, wow, it doesn't take a whole lot. And so kind of nice to have that safety there. So now you can't do anything. Another note about the safety is that when you open it, you know, it's a, you know, one of these locks here. I forget if that's the liner lock or the versus the one where it's on the back. You know, I'm showing my ignorance. I don't know all the terms for knives. But like right now, you know, you just move this lock mechanism here over to the side and then close it. And by the way, it's real easy to close. There's like no pressure, and this first part is just kind of like, there's nothing there. It's real easy to do. So I've only had this knife a day. These are just basically a first impression video, and I can open and close this thing. Or really, closing is the part that I guess you would have to teach your hand to do fluidly, and I could already close it just easier than my other knives. It's just super easy to close it. I mean, there's no way I could do that. You know, with my Kershaw, it's just the angle of the blade and where things are. I have to be more careful when I get my thumb out of here now and bring it around and stuff. And I've had this for probably about 4 years. And the lock mechanism in here, it doesn't get out of the way as easy. This one is really, it's a joy to open and close it. It's just a lot of fun. It's really cool. Okay, so one of the other things I immediately noticed about this knife is how big and burly it is. It's a really heavy knife. It's real robust. In contrast to like this Kershaw Oh So Sweet, this has a some kind of composite. I don't know if it's G10. I don't think it's G10. This is like a $20 knife. But some kind of composite handle. It does have some skeletonized inside panels. So there's metal in there, you know, and they are drilled out, hence the, you know, skeletonized. But the Oh So Sweet is really light. And then, just for reference, my other knife's a really light. My other knife is a really light one. This is a Spyderco Delica Emerson opener. It's got this little thing there that catches on your pocket when you pull it out, so it opens automatically. These are just 3 very, very different knives. But, you know, just, these are what I have, so I figured I'd just roll them out. This one also, very lightweight, high quality feel, but just very lightweight, kind of svelte, feels like a precision instrument. The Kershaw, lightweight, it shows its price point. It's a great knife. I love this knife, but it just doesn't have that feel of refinement like the Spyderco has. And then the Smith has a totally different angle. This thing feels like a brick compared to those two. But you feel like you could probably drop this off a skyscraper and nothing would happen to it. It feels like a tank. And that's, you know, good or bad depending on what your take is. A heavy knife to carry. You know, definitely if you're used to a lighter knife, you're going to find this heavy. You know, if you're not carrying a knife as of now, or, you know, if you never really thought about it, you know, you probably won't think much of it. But in comparison to some of the other knives out there, I find it to be a little bit heavy. But it's kind of a reassuring heavy. It just feels, in a word, solid. It's just super robust. It's also significantly thicker. And I don't know the weight off the top of my head. You could look that up. But just from general handling, I have to guess that the Smith is probably a full 2 times the weight of either of these two, or very close to it. I think these are about 2.5 ounces, something like that. You know, I don't even want to say. I don't want to make I don't remember. One time I remember seeing the weight of these knives here, but I don't remember now. But just in my hand, this one feels about twice as heavy as these. So it's a completely different kind of animal. We have the clip here. The clip is a real nice clip, actually. I like it a lot. How much it comes up here on the end. The tension is very, very good. It's really a high tension clip, and I also like how deep it rides. These rivets are these little screws are about as high as they could possibly go, and then you see how high the clip actually bends up here. So at the very top portion of it is where it would, you know, lie on your jeans or pants. So you basically only see that. You know, that's the only thing that pokes out at the top, which is different than, say, something like a Spyderco, where they're renowned for having good clips, and it is an excellent clip, but you could see where your clothing would stop, which would be right there. So in a Spyderco, all that's exposed. You know, because right at that crease there is as high as your garment would be able to go, and so all that is what's exposed versus that. So it rides really deep, very inconspicuous. The jimping on top is kind of that rudimentary jimping. It doesn't do a whole lot to grab your thumb. Nothing like the Spydercos. In my opinion, Spyderco has basically jimping perfection, not only from the fineness of, I'm sorry, my camera's not focusing. Not only because of how fine all these little ridges here are, but also the fact that they are contoured and raised up so your thumb just sits in there. So you have the angle, plus they're just the perfect feel. This is flat, and not only that, but these giant spaces between them. You know, it's better than nothing, but it's not, you know, super effective. And that brings me to my only one real problem with this knife. Oh, let me just show you that while we got it here. This is the lettering you get on the side, or the branding, Black Ops. That right there is the part number. It's that SW Blop 3S. And you could see Smith & Wesson call attention to some of their patents here on the side, which I'm sure have something to do with this magic assist. Okay, you can see the steel there. I don't think that's a real high-end steel. I don't know my steels. I know some of these knife reviews, people just like, they know the intricacies of all the different metallurgies and pros and cons. I don't know anything about that. So I'm sure this is not a high-end steel based on the price point of the knife, but I think it's a good working blade. And I don't know if I could show you this, but maybe I can. It is, out of the box, shaving sharp. Yeah, I don't know if I could really demonstrate it to you here. I'm having a hard time focusing, but it has real good sharpness out of the box. It does take off. There we go. You can probably see that. So right there now I'm bald completely. So that's nice. Out of the box sharpness is on par with the Spydercos and the Kershaws and everybody else. How it retains that, it has to do, you know, with how you use it as well as the type of steel. I don't really beat the hell out of my knives. I just really don't have much occasion to. I just use them for normal everyday stuff, but I'm not sure about that steel, how robust it is, or how it takes an edge and stuff, but you could look into that. I think it said it was 4034. Yeah, 4034 steel. And just real quickly, I wanted to highlight on the last thing I don't like about this is this flipper. For one thing, for whatever reason, it's plastic. And I see no reason why in this super robust, just metal brick of a knife, why this is not metal as well. But it's plastic attached to some smaller metal mechanism, but it gets in the way. Here's the thing, and it also rocks back and forth, which is just strange. It's just, that's the way it is. But there's no, you know, jimping or anything here. So you want your thumb to go up to this portion. What ends up happening is it just digs in right there. You want your thumb to just, it's just in the way. Exactly where you want to put your thumb down is where that thing is sticking up. You know, putting it forward is even worse. Putting it backwards, you guys can kind of hike your thumb up here, which is fine. But where it would naturally fall on any other knife, like right there, that thing is just digging into your thumb. So it's just odd, but I think just the nature of it, the peculiarity of this thing moving and where it is, and the fact that it doesn't, you know, go inside when the knife opens. I think all that has to do with this magic opening system. And so that's kind of like, you know, a decision you make. If you like that forceful hair trigger pseudo-automatic opening mechanism, then you deal with this little funky flipper on top that is kind of in the way a little bit. Okay, so that's it. This is Smith & Wesson. Was that Black Ops? I'll show you guys this again. There it is, Blop 3S, Black Ops 3S. And I really like this knife a lot. I really do. I like how fast it opens. I like how easy it is to close. It feels robust as hell. I like the clip, the tension of it. I like how high it rides. And I really, really like the aesthetics of it. I think that handle just looks awesome. And I like the black blade coupled to it as well. I think that's cool. So in my small collection here, I think it just fits the bill nicely. I have some of the smaller, delicate ones, lighter ones. You know, they each kind of have their own purpose. And it was nice to get a black blade, though, as opposed to the finished silver ones. So that's going to be the Smith & Wesson. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. You can leave them in the comments. Okay, everybody. Later.